this is Ina and welcome to Books and Boy Bands, where we talk about books and boy bands. For today's video, I am very excited to share with you all the books that I was able to read last February. So 2024 has been really good to me. My excitement for reading hasn't been this much for quite a while now, so I'm very happy that we were able to read 18 books. And as you probably know, on this channel, we really love doing our reading statistics, our reading wrap-ups, and that's where we'll be starting today's video. And then at the latter part of it, I would be sharing with you small reviews on what the books are about and what I thought about them. So let's start. The first thing I look at is how many pages I was able to read. Now for February, it's 6,033, so I'm very happy about it. And another thing that excites me and raises the competitive spirit in me is seeing how long does it take for me to finish a book. And I take the average day of that. For February, it's 4.39 days, which is shorter than what it was last month, so yay us. Now the average rating is actually quite high. It's 4.06 for this month because I didn't give any 2 or 1 star to any book, so I think we're getting better with our choices now. And okay, so let's start with the charts. First is the formats I was able to read. I still lean toward audiobooks because working is hard, so we did 11 audiobooks. But I'm very happy that I am making use of my Kindle again. I was able to read 5 ebooks, and then I was able to read 2 physical books, which is also another surprise. I haven't really touched these books here on my shelf, so 2 books is a win, a really big win for me. So next we have my genres. I did notice how I have been leaning towards romances and thrillers for the past couple of years, and I want to try to diversify that, not specifically any other genre, but any genre at all. And I'm really happy to see that my pie chart is not just 2 slices. We have been dipping our toes into different genres. As you can see, the main genre is still mystery and thriller with 8 books, 6 books for contemporary romances, and then there's 1 historical romance, and then 1 also for science fiction or fantasy, 1 for memoir or biography, 1 for realistic fiction. So there. Now my audiences are quite close to each other. I did read 10 books that are targeted for adults, which I am, so that I lean into that more. I'm quite surprised. It turned out that I read 8 young adult books for this month, so yay me, I guess. And then for author ethnicity, I've been trying to branch out, though I know that publishing industry tends to lean towards white authors, so that's mainly what's on the market. So I still try to squeeze in different books, so just so I can be exposed to more cultures and actually experience unique stories as well. So for this month, I read 10 books from white authors, 4 books from Latinx authors, 2 books from Black authors, and 2 books from Asian authors, which I think is a better spread than other times. Now, for the author familiarity, I'm very happy that I was able to read 11 books from authors that are new to me. So now I found some more authors whose works I'd like to pursue more. Just like in this month, I was able to read 2 books from an author whom I have read once before, 3 books from an author who I've read from authors I've read from multiple times before, and 2 books from my auto-read, auto-buy authors, or auto-buy, auto-read authors. So there, I read more standalones this month. I did 12, and then 6 books from series. And so now when it comes to the copy source, I was able to get 12 books from my ever reliable library. I was able to source these audiobooks and I think 1 ebook, and then I was able to read 5 advanced reader copies that I got from publishers and authors years back. So I know I'm very late giving feedback and promoting the book, but I still wanted to catch up, and I still wanted to share the book to my audience, so maybe some of them haven't heard about these books and get to experience it themselves as well. So there. And then I got one book that I bought, and this one is one of my 5 stars, so I'm very, very happy about it. Some things I also look into is the year of publication of the books that I read. So I read one book released this 2024. I read 2 books released in 2023, and then 11 books from 2018 to 2022, 2 books from 2012 to 2017, and then 2 books as well that were published earlier than 2011. One of those actually was published so long ago, 1930, and that was the first book in the Nancy Drew mystery series. So that was a fun experience. Now, and then since I am a romance lover, I decided to look into the spice level of the books that I've been reading, so that I can recommend different types of books for different types of like spice level readers. So I was able to read 5 books that I rated 1 on the spice level charts, 0 to spice books, and then I read 1 book at level 3 spice, which is the maximum. And then I have 4 books that are very vanilla, so that are safe for young readers. And then I have 8 books that I cannot classify, so it's not applicable to the genre of those books. So to total the 18 books I've read in February. Now, the thing I track is the book length, just to see what kind of reader I am. So for February, I read 1 book that is less than 250 pages, 9 books that is between 251 to 350 pages, 8 books that are 351 to 450 pages, and then that's it. So my max for now, I think, is around the 450 range. We'll see if something could tap that, along the year. But yeah, the last part is actually the star ratings that I gave these books. So I gave 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars this February. So I'll talk to you first about the 3-star reads, and for this month I had 5 of them. The first one was the first read of the month. It is one of the arcs that I got. I think this one was from Bookish first. I think it's the Net Galley company, and they gave me a copy of The Lost Dreamer by Liz Huerta, and this is a fantasy book which is not really by genre. So the fact that I was able to complete and finish this book is really a success already. This one is a fantasy that is also touched with, what do you call this, mythology. It is sold in dual POVs, and aside from being a fantasy coded book, it is also shrouded with mystery. I think that's the reason why I was able to continue on and finish the book, though I'm really not the fantasy girly that I was wishing I could be. So overall, it is still a good read, and I gave it 3 stars. So the next book that I rated 3 stars is a romance book. It's called Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. And this one is a contemporary romance. It's second chance. This girl is already engaged to someone, and she decided to go back home. I think she goes to this summer home with her family every summer. And there she meets again this guy from her past who she spent other summers before. And even though she is off to be married, she still feels the same sparks she has for this guy. But this guy is, there's a little bit of push and pull, a lot of miscommunication between the 2 leads. And I think, if you factor in that she's currently in a relationship with one guy and it's dragging, I feel like, the 2 men along, even though we don't like who she is engaged with, I think it doesn't justify the need to emotionally cheat. I don't know. So I'm a little off put about that, but I did love their love story, like our main lead's love story, and I love that this book is also musically and artistically inclined. So that's why I'm putting it in the middle and giving it 3 stars. 3-star read is At the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall. This one is a mystery thriller book, and it's about this journalist reporter she is black and a woman. So imagine the struggle on trying to further her career, and aside from, you know, the office politics that she goes through, this would be a series that features different cases that she would handle. In this initial read, she covers a case which is about the murder of promising young woman in the black community, but because she is black and she is a teenager, like the police and the community like presume that she ran away, she's an irresponsible girl, and like they treated it lightly as a missing case when it is actually a murder case. So she is kind of bordering the line of being a journalist to being an investigator, because she gets really attached to these cases. I like that part of the story. The other part I didn't like was some of the writing style of the author. The thing is, it's semi-autobiographical because the writer is actually a journalist as well, experiencing the same things, and that kind of translates in the way that she writes. I think some of the words and storytelling styles that she used are already out of touch, especially in dealing with the social issues involved in this case. So that's why I was lukewarm about it. I gave it 3 stars, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to pick it up in the future. I'm sure as the author decides to write more books, she'll get better and better at it. So I'm still hopeful. I'm not abandoning the series. I'm very much looking forward to the second book on this series. So there, the next 3-star read I have is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This one is one of Ruth Ware's most famous mystery thriller books, because I think it's one of her first ones, and it's about another journalist that is like a substitute for her boss into this sailing journey. I think they are a travel journalist. It would be featuring this cruise that would be featuring the Aurora Borealis. Like the cruise doesn't really have a specific itinerary. Instead, its goal is to bring in whoever is in the ship to experience the Aurora Borealis, which, like, you know, is in the bucket list of most of us. Our main character was on her cabin. She kind of heard this splash, and she saw like a dead body being thrown off, I think, of the ship, and that's the woman in cabin 10. So she is telling everyone on the ship about what she saw and the need to investigate this case, but no one is actually believing her because no one has seen this person, and the person is not the one registered for cabin 10. She is not an employee of the cruise ship and all that. So it's like it's like people are kind of worried about her mental state, why she is seeing something that nobody else is seeing. So that's where the story revolved around. But I kind of felt that it was dragging a lot. Like, even though this book gave a few plot twists here and there, it didn't really engage me as much as I was hoping, specifically since it is a Ruth Ware book. And now, after reading this author's work multiple times already, I kind of feel like she is a hit or miss author for me, but it doesn't mean that I'm still not interested in her works, especially because most of the premises of her works are very good, like very intriguing. I think sometimes it's just in the delivery of things. I also wonder if it's actually because her works are British or like European coded, and we don't like, there are pop culture references or humor or banter or like just plain storytelling things that don't usually translate to international audiences, especially people like me who consume more American culture things than British things. But yeah, I don't know. This one I just rated 3 stars because there are a lot of good points on this book, but there are also a lot of things that didn't really interest me. So 3 stars. Now, the last one that I also rated 3 stars is The Secret of the Old Clock, the first book in the Nancy Drew series, which, I don't know, this series was my favorite when I was young. And it was like my life dream goal that I told myself when I get a job, when I become an adult, I try to buy all those yellow hardcovers and collect them all. But I don't know, I didn't really get to do that. So I was just reminded of it when I was scrolling through things I could get through my library. And I decided, like, if I liked the first book, then I'll continue on to the rest of the series, and maybe to start collecting those physical books. But unfortunately, there are some things, that doesn't really transcend time. Like, not all books are that timeless. I think I liked it, but it's a very shallowish mystery compared to what I've been craving. So maybe it's not the right time for me to read it. I've been itching towards maybe exploring cozy mysteries first before going back to this one. And also, the verbiage, the language is very, very different from the 1930s to 2023. So maybe that's another reason why I don't really connect to the book. So I don't know. I just rated it 3 stars. I didn't like the narrating style because it's kind of in a bit very storytelling type of book. Like, it's something meant to be read aloud and shared with an audience. I feel like I don't know if it's breaking the fourth wall or if it's just, I don't know. So there's a lot of exclamation points in the book. So while I was reading it, I was a bit put off by all the exclamation remarks that she has, especially at the ending of every chapter. Like, something happens and then, wow, blah 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 blah, wow, blah blah blah. So I don't know. I love Nancy Drew as a character, but I don't know. Maybe I should just read the modernized versions of it. Like, there's so many Nancy Drew series, but I don't know. I don't know when I'll be able to pick this series up. I need to crave for it, I think, to give it justice, because I know for many people it's still one of their favorite works. So that's the thing about reading, I read it when I was very, very young. No internet, sometimes no cable TV, no friends. When there's not much you can do, those books seemed like they were the best things because they were my only form of entertainment. But right now, with so many good mystery thrillers in books, in media, in any form of media, like in streaming and in films, it's kind of a little too juvenile for my taste now, because of course I'm not the target audience anymore. So okay, let's stop at that. Maybe I'll revisit it in the future. Okay. There are 7 books that I rated 4 stars. Let's go through each of them. Okay, this is tiring. Okay, so the first book I read is part of a series. It's A Proposal They Can't Refuse, part of the Vega Family Love Story series by Natalie Cania. So A Proposal They Can't Refuse opened with the mess that these 2 grandfathers have been doing. They are very, very naughty grandfathers trying to mess up the dynamic in their nursing homes, plainly because they are bored already. Now, their guardians, like their family members, carers, were called in by the management, and they are forced to interact with each other because technically these 2 grandpas are best friends, but they like messing each other up. So it's just for the fun of it, but they do disturb the other residents of their shared home. Now, our main characters, number 1 is a Puerto Rican chef called Camila, and then so the granddaughter of one of the grandfathers is our main character, Camila. She is a chef. And then the other grandpa's grandson, Liam, is our other main character. He works at a distillery. So both of them are struggling, like continuing the legacy of their grandfathers. Both are very, very passionate about the work that they do. And the thing is, their grandfathers decided to sell the building that houses these 2 businesses, and they don't want to hinder the family legacy to continue on, especially with how much they love each of their businesses. Fathers had an ultimatum for them to stay, for them not to sell the business, and it's for those 2 to finally get together. So these grandchildren did a scheming thing on their own, and it's to make their grandfathers believe that they are dating and engaged, soon to be married. So there's fake dating here. There's a lot of banter. There's a lot of family things. So I really enjoyed. I felt attached to the characters, and I kind of did a guess already on which are the next main characters that this series would continue on. So I really love the dynamic with all the characters, and even with the main characters. I was actually rooting for them to get their heads straight and realize how much they actually work well together. I'm very happy that they found each other, and that I get a glimpse of that on the next installment of the series. Next installment of the series is another book I gave 4 stars to, and it's A Dish Best Served Hot. This one is about a cousin of one of the main characters in the previous book, Santiago Saint Vega. This is a second chance romance. So Santi and our main character Lola dated way back in high school. He wasn't able to really stand up for her, and they weren't really out as a couple, and that was something that really hurt Lola's heart. So seeing each other in the future, there's kind of really a gap between the two of them. Like, Lola needs convincing to give him a second chance again. So Saint, just like his name, he is a little too strong on the principles that he has. Like, even though he didn't need to, he decided to like go on active duty in military service, and that was like the main trigger of their relationship falling apart in the first place. And now that he is back, she is now the one who has learned to rely strongly on her principles. So she became an activist. So aside from her main job, she was also very active in the community, particularly in helping LGBTQ youth to have a safe space for them to call their own home. So that's where the conflict starts for the two of them to pursue a romance, because Santi is kind of regretting that he stayed true to his principles. Now Lola, on the other hand, she wants Santi to understand that it's her time to stick to her principles, and Santi is very worried about how dangerous it is, especially with protests and the police trying to stop them. And Santi has a daughter now. Even though he kind of like wants to support Lola in her causes, he also knows how dangerous it would be for his daughter, and that's what is kind of stopping him to continue on with this relationship. So I really like this one. I think it is borderline 5 stars for me, with how much I was attached to the characters, and how well the spice level was, how well the humor and banter was, and how well the angst was written as well. So I'm looking forward to the last installment, maybe, or 3rd installment in the series, but it's not released yet. So there. So the next 4-star book I have is You've Reached Sam. So it is a book talk sensation, I remember, during the pandemic. I read it at that time, and I just rated it 3 stars. I didn't really like it at that time, but now I did read and listen at the same time. And the voice narrators we had for the audiobook kind of helped me get attached to this book, and I really did appreciate it better now. I think I was in a better headspace for reading, which improved my reading experience for You've Reached Sam, wherein our main character's boyfriend passed away, and while she was grieving, she decided to call his phone so that she can hear his voicemail and listen to his voice, that of course she has been missing already for a while. And to her surprise, he answered. So they did have this. So this is like has fantasy elements in a way where they kind of defied death, because they were able to still talk to each other through the phone. But they know that this is not something that would last forever, because this connection through the phone is also affecting our main character's life. I think her name is Julie. It was affecting her life, her relationships with the people who are actually still there. And Sam also knows that Julie is not meant to hold on to him forever. So this book is really a discussion on love, what it really means to love and let people go, how to deal with grief and move on with your life after suffering such a huge loss. And it's a really profound thing. I I know many people cried so hard while reading this book. I did not cry, but there are really heart-wrenching scenes in the book, so I did feel a tug on my heartstrings. But overall, I gave it 4 stars because it was an enjoyable read and it was an enjoyable experience. So book I rated 4 stars is I Am Margaret Moore by Hannah Capin or Hannah Capin. And this book, I was surprised that I rated 4 stars and a lot of people didn't really like it because it's a book told in poetry and prose. So there are a lot of poems in the book scattered within the narrations in the book. I think it helps that I listened to the audio copy of the book while reading the arc. So the poetry has more power and impact in the statements that it provides. So I classify it as a mystery and thriller, but it has paranormal elements as well. And it talks about this military school where I think it's the Naval Academy, and there's this group of boys that are studying. It tells the story of their camaraderie and friendship and a secret that our main character, Margaret Moore, had. So she was in a forbidden relationship with one of the other students who I think is a legacy. I don't know what the term is in the military, but he's a legacy, he came from a powerful military family, and something happened between them. They were found out. She got pregnant and he wasn't able to stand up for her. And so I don't know if it's a little spoilery. I don't know up until what point I can talk about the book, but he wasn't able to stand up for her, and that's what made her file complaints. And they tried to hide the story. They tried to make people forget her name, and that's why the statement I Am Margaret Moore, the title of the book, is very, very powerful because she did what she could do to make people remember her name. So take what you can out of that. Next 4-star read I have is an arc again that I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I didn't know I would love it this much. It's One Little Secret by Kate Houlihan, and this is a domestic thriller. This book is about 3 couples in the same neighborhood, and their children are out at summer camp, so they decided to do a little mini vacation thing of their own. Little did we know that there are a lot of secrets in between these 3 couples, cheating, lying, and hiding things from each other, and they are interconnected with their drama basically. So it's neighborhood drama, and during that vacation, one person out of those couples ended up dead, and now we need to find out who killed her. And there are multiple people in this group of 5 remaining people that are highly possible to be the suspect because again, they were cheating and lying and hiding things from each other. So that's what we would want to find out. And we get to see things aside from the main character's perspective, the perspective of the detective who is handling the case. And aside from this main case, there is another small case related to a party, a girl, and many other cases. Actually, there is another one small case that's related also to the couple. So if you like listening to true crime wherein there are a lot of plot twists, a lot of drama, a lot of issues between the main characters, this is a very, very juicy read that you'd enjoy. This one is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, and this is one of the most famous mystery thrillers ever, like in the past couple of years. And I was expecting that it would be a 5-star read. It turned out to be just a 4-star read for me. But it has a very intriguing premise wherein our main character, she killed her husband, shot him in the face 5 times, and then never spoke again. And now she is brought into this mental asylum, and she meets this psychotherapist called Gabe. and he would try to help her talk again. But that doesn't end there. This game has a secret, and that's something that we would find out along the way. So I really liked the ending of the book. I really liked climax part of the book. I hated how it started. It took time. So it's a slow burn. It was hard for me to get engaged at first. I think after the 25% mark, that was when I got engaged with how the story fulfilled. But the thing is, sometimes I DNF books at the 20% part, so I almost did not go through because I think it was so slow and I didn't know if I would like where it would go. But good thing I finished it and I gave it 4 stars. So there. Last for this 4 stars is Where It All Lands by Jenny Wexler. This is a young adult contemporary romance about a theme I wasn't sure I was going to pursue because it was involving a love triangle. So we have our main character, Stevie, from Stevie Nicks. She moves into this new city or town because her dad is a football coach, and where he gets hired he goes. So does his family. And there she meets best friends Drew and Shane. They were both attracted to her. They both wanted to pursue her, but for the sake of friendship they decided that only one of them would pursue her. Who would it be? Let a coin toss decide. So this story is told in dual timelines, where in one pathway Stevie dates Drew. In another pathway, Stevie dates Shane. So both of these stories give you something different, give you something similar as well. So this is a story about first love, about family, about friendship, about pursuing your own passion, finding yourself. Lot of heart-wrenching moments, lot of very hopeful moments as well. So I really liked it. I don't know if other people would like it too. The main reason why I slashed off a star is that there was 2 endings. I was hoping I'd get one ending, like for a final closure, but the author kind of gave us something that it's up to you to decide which ending you like better, or if you're okay living in a world of alternate universes that there are just 2 endings. So there. Okay, so we're down to the 5-star reads. We're almost done. I just have to talk to you about the 5 books I gave 5 stars to. I hope you're still here. So there. The first 5-star book I have for February is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I don't know if it's the same with other countries, but Frida McFadden has been very hyped, has been highly recommended by people in the Philippines. The bookish community, all of them have been craving Frida. They are looking for her work. They are reading her on their Kindles. And at first it was like a Kindle community thing, and now it's an everybody thing. So this is a 2024 publication, and I read it the day it was released because I was lucky that I found out that it was releasing soon, and I did a hold on my library way before there was a publication date. So I was able to read it on the day it came out, and I'm very happy about it. So it's also another domestic thriller set in a school about 2 teachers and a student. So I think the best way to enter a Frida McFadden book is to not know anything about it. So I will end it there. There are a lot of secrets, there are a lot of plot twists, and the reason why I love the 5 stars is it was plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. I did not get a break. I wasn't able to predict if it's the last plot twist ever. So many things keep happening. Lot of things happened. It was an adventure. It was a ride. And I think, like, as an emotional reviewer, not really objective reviewer, that journey alone, the entertainment that it delivered to me, it deserves the 5 stars. So there. Next 5-star read is a historical romance called It Happened One Autumn. It's part of the Wallflower series by Lisa Kleypas, and I really loved it. So this is the second book in the Wallflower series. So It Happened One Autumn is about one American heiress, I think. She's a very rich American who went to the UK to find a suitable her family went to the UK so that she and her sister could find suitable husbands that could like elevate their status and also help them enter like business in the UK. And she's a very independent woman. She doesn't really conform to London society, to like the Regency, and that's what made her a wallflower. So, and the time is ticking for them. She really has to find the guy, the man, and she kind of hates this Marcus dude. So Marcus was dubbed as like London's most eligible aristocrat, but he is also like done with the dating thing in London society. So that's one thing. He could be a good prospect for Lillian, but they kind of dislike each other. But at the same time, he doesn't want her to end up with somebody else. He was like really looking out for her and her like crazy ways. So this book is very, very fun. There's a lot of banter. It's a lot of adventure. And when they finally succumb to their emotions, when they finally decide to push this sub-story through, it would be chef's kiss. And if you're a lover of steamy scenes, then Miss Lisa Claypass delivers on the steamy scenes. This is the 30 spice level steamy scene read for me this month, and it was so good. Wallflower series, actually all of the books are so good. So there. The next 5-star read is mystery thriller Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. This is a book I picked up because of Gabby Reads, and it's a mystery thriller based on a heist in this community. So we have our main character, I think, Bo. He is a son of a criminal. So when he was young, he was part of a heist already, and he like paid the sins for his father who escaped. And ever since he was young, he has been, you know, caught up in messes. And in this book, they were planning a heist with a few people he connected with. They were gonna rob this pawn shop, I think, and they were eyeing diamonds aside from cash. And you know, though they were able to escape the heist, they didn't know that they touched things that weren't supposed to be there, and things owned by like a different gang, mafia, or I don't know what right term is. So he just ended up a larger grave for himself, and that's where the story like revolves around. And it's really action packed. It's really perfect for people looking for thrill and adventure. There's really a lot of suspense like in the decisions each of them make. It's like kind of an action movie, a heist movie, and if you're looking for something that won't bore you with its pacing and will also touch your heart and also talk to you about social issues, this book is a great pick for you. Next 5-star read is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This is another mystery thriller that is set in a school. For Your Own Good is about this teacher. He won Teacher of the Year in Belmont Academy, but there's still something wrong with his life. He thought that it would make him happy to win Teacher of the Year, but he wants things beyond this honor. He wants the students to love him. He wants to feel like he belongs, but he has some trouble. He's jealous with this one teacher. His wife hasn't come home in a while. He also hates some of the students he has, and he wants them to fulfill the most of their academic potential. So in this book, there are a lot of characters. It kind of feels like watching a Netflix limited series. Though our main character is Teddy, the POV changes to different students, to parents, to teachers, and then one thing that you should know about this book is death comes after death after death after death. So many people winds up dead in this academy, and it's really weird to think about, to just say it, but it's a very interesting read. It's kind of, aside from like being a mystery thriller, it's kind of a dark humor type of book. It's campy in a way, but I loved how the story was delivered, and it's well deserving of the 5 stars. So this video is so long already, and I still have 2 books. Okay, second to the last, If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Kale Dietrich. It is about this boy band, which is perfect for books and boy bands. They are on tour. They are called Saturdays, and they are taking the world by storm. And two of these members of the boy band are actually falling for each other. So, yeah. I don't think I have to say much more about it. Why I rated it 5 stars, because I'm a super fan of boy bands and of shipping. Okay, so this thing is like candy for me. It's really fun, really juicy, but it also discusses a lot of angst, a lot of drama, a lot of problems in like the music industry, in the celebrity world. And I was really surprised at where this went. I kind of was hoping for more with how it ended, but I'm really pretty surprised. And like love story wise, I love the dynamics of our main characters. The writing style of Sophie Gonzalez, I know already that I would like after reading her works multiple times already. So yeah, 5 stars, 5 stars. And the last book this one was featured heavily. I did a separate reading vlog about it. This is Almond by Won Pyung Son, or Son Won Pyung. This is a realistic fiction, translated work about this boy who has trouble with his amygdala. So he has trouble processing emotions, and this book tells the story of his youth until he reaches adolescence, and all the struggles he had in his life, his support from his mother and grandmother, the tragic event that changed his life, the trajectory of his life, and taught him about loss, even though he doesn't really know how to process emotions, and his high school life, where he realizes the value of what a friend means, like a spark of love and a spark of acceptance, emotions, and like growing up, a story about life. It's really a coming of age story. I really liked how it was written. It was very well written, and it was very engaging. You would really root for and care for these characters. The premise itself was very unique, and I loved it. I read it because 4 members of BTS read it in a series, but I ended up getting something that I would carry with me forever. So I really enjoyed reading Almond. I was really happy about it. And now I'm very hopeful for the other BTS recommended books I have waiting for me in the future. So there, those are all the 18 books I was able to read in February. This is almost an hour long. I hope I could trim it down. But yeah, thank you so much if you're still here listening to me ramble about all the books that I loved in February. Tell me about the books you loved in your reading journey, and comment down below. Let's talk about those books. I hope to see you guys on the next bookish video. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye!